What's up, YouTube? This is Lord Zath, bringing you another episode of Zath's Replay Theater. And we've got 75 in the Hosho. He was asking me for some assistance with using carriers, and happy to do so. This is a tier 4 battle with tier 3 ships, and 2 carriers per side, so this should be kind of interesting, right? I'm gonna do my characteristic screenshot action because I can do that. See if I can. There we go. Get a plane launch going here. Almost looks like there's like this green mist coming off this ship. You know, like, looks kind of interesting like that, I suppose. Alright. Anyways, let's get into the action here. So we're gonna select the planes. We are now looking from Ino's perspective. So what you see is what he or she is looking at, assuming no mods to change the view pattern. The Hosho is a tier 4 Japanese aircraft carrier, the very first in the line of aircraft carriers. And as you can see, it's got one single loadout, one fighter, and then 2 torpedo bombers. It looks like Ino has air supremacy. Air supremacy skill, which adds 1 additional fighter, and you can see right there, he's gonna put it to good use. Now, in tier 4 and 5, there's only automatic attacks, so it's, I guess you could say, point and click adventures. Basically, Wargaming felt that it was too much skill at tier 4 to ask for carrier planes and our carrier players, and so they kind of wanted to make it a little bit more comfortable for everybody to learn the carrier with automatic only, which at tier 4 kind of makes sense. At tier 5, I don't know. Like right here, you could strafe in and take out a lot of planes, but because you have to click, then it doesn't matter so much. Anyway, the nice thing with the Hosho is that now that those changes were put into play, you can do cross drops. So you can set your torpedo bombers to drop from basically 90-degree angle from each other, and if you can do that, then that means that your torpedoes will kind of scissor in on an enemy, and there's really no easy way for them to dodge. Now let's see if he's going to do that with this. He's done a nice job of helping the other carrier win the air war. By the way, you see now he's adjusting the angle of attack there. You saw the thing move a little bit over here. You can click on one of these and then drag, and basically that changes how the target's gonna, or sorry, how the torpedoes are gonna drop. Now that he's won air superiority, he's returning his planes to the carrier. That makes sense. And I'm not quite sure what he's trying to do here. I think he's anticipating that the St. Louis is turning, and so he's trying to get his bombers to go in. And here's where I think, like I said, the ability to do a cross drop would have come in really handy. Because at that point, if you do a cross drop at 90-degree angles, the enemy is either going to turn for one or the other torpedo attack. In other words, that person can't dodge both sets. In that case, he only took 2 torpedoes. If you did a cross drop, you might have gotten 3 on the person, maybe. Still, decent damage, good hit. You almost took out the St. Louis. I like that you took your time and you didn't rush into it. A lot of carrier players, myself included, will just sometimes jump in and drop your bombs and hope that you get that really good lucky hit. And to be honest, maybe you're better off taking that time to get things set up. So plane's ready to go. You should be launching the plane right now. You're not. I'm not sure why. Okay, there you go. One of the most important parts of carrier is managing your flight deck. because as you see right there, that number 4, that fourth squadron now is finally dropping. See the icon over the 3rd squadron? That means they want to land, but they can't. Something's in the way. That 4th squadron was delayed landing by about a second and a half because the fighters were too busy taking off. So managing that flight deck is really important, because if you mismanage, especially later as you get more and more squadron access, it becomes much more difficult to get your planes out and into action. And the planes, of course, are how you deal damage and how you support your team and all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of important. And I like how you're supporting the other carrier. The two of you together are working to take down these Langley's fighters. I didn't get a chance to talk about the enemy team and your team. And one thing I'll mention, Arkansas Beta has absolutely no anti-air. So that puts, I guess in a sense, your team at a disadvantage, because that's a player that's probably going to go down to a coordinated coordinated carrier strike. He didn't go down though, so there's that. I'm not sure why your carrier is moving this direction, because that's where the enemy's coming from. So maybe, you know, it's easy because you're looking elsewhere. It's hard to keep an eye of where is your carrier in relation to, you know, the mini-map and the field and stuff. And it looks like you've kind of noticed that, and you're moving your carrier away now. So that's good. The Hosho's got pretty good speed, so that's nice. Now, here's I would be taking my torpedoes. You saw that destroyer was spotted. I would have tried to spot torpedoes that might have been coming in on this ship. I'm not sure what you're looking to do with your torpedo bombers, but to be honest, the Kolberg right here in the center, I mean, is a beautiful target. I'm guessing maybe you're gonna try to go for a snipey snipe on the carrier, or maybe attack on the Wyoming. Like I said, I think going for the Kolberg here would have been the better play, possibly the Phoenix, because you know what, they're kind of isolated, right? They're going to be surrounded by other targets, so they're going to be distracted. They're going to be shooting, like this Kolberg right now is shooting somebody else. So I think you could have dropped your torpedoes on that guy, and that would have helped. Now you're going to drop. It looks like you almost lined up for a cross drop, and then you turned your torpedoes that way. I think your torpedoes are a little bit off in your aim. In other words, you should be maybe coming in from a more to the right angle. You got really lucky there though. The Wyoming, oh my god, he actually turned into your torpedoes. Look at that! Oh my gosh! Wow! Derp. Oh man, you got lucky there with that. Nice job. And I think you're kind of still in shock right now because you haven't moved your screen to something else. Boy. Alright. So, let's see. So you've got your carrier fighters coming in to support now. I'm not sure what your carrier, your fighters are doing going to where they are. By the way, a nice little life hack is if you double click or double hit the button, it'll snap view right to the to your highlighted plane. So, you know, here's take your plane and fly in between the Svetlana and the guy you're shooting at. And the reason I say that is you'll detect torpedoes that way. Oh, that was a vampire. Cool. And very smart. What you saw there was he actually baited the enemy carrier to bring the fighters into the anti-airfield of this Kaiser and to a lesser extent the St. Louis. And maybe even the Wyoming. So what that did was it meant that the fighter was fighting with basically 2 or 3 other ships behind his back. And that was really helpful. He got the support. Launch your torpedo bombers. Okay, you wasted about 7 seconds there. And I know it sounds silly to say 7 seconds, but in this game with these attacks, seconds can really matter. They can mean the difference between a perfect torpedo drop or a miss. So, it is what it is. I like how you're communicating with the team. Now you're interested in the Kohlberg, but of course the Kohlberg is dead. So, I'm guessing that you're looking at the Phoenix and saying, I want this guy gone. I hope you are. We'll see. The way your torpedo bombers are moving, that's my guess, is you're looking to nail the Phoenix. Nope, you're not. Okay. As a veteran carrier player, the one thing I will tell you is going after the big damage numbers, the battleships and the carriers. To be honest, it's nice. It looks cool, makes you feel good, but it's not gonna do a whole lot to impact the flow of the game. Killing that Phoenix will do more. The Phoenix has damage per second, DPM, DPS, whatever, and you could easily drop. There you go. Good job. All right. Now you can't drop from that direction because you'll notice. There you go. Yep, you saw that. Now here's where you take one fighter or one torp bomber and you drop them from the other side while you were waiting. This Phoenix is just going to turn into your torp. See, if you had cross-torped, he would have basically been forced to take one or two of those torpedo bombers. So in that case, you know, you wanna send your bombers to the other side and then drop. Or you notice that he just beached. I think he beached. If you send one bomber and then the other bomber you wait, you could see what that other bomber does too, or what the Phoenix does. And if the Phoenix beaches himself, then you just pull in the other bomber. But see, now's an instance where you suddenly care about this Phoenix because he's threatening you. And I think if you didn't focus on the battleships and instead focused on cruisers that are overextended like this Phoenix, you'd be a lot better off. And this Phoenix is dead, I think. Oh boy, yeah. By the way, if you're ever in a cruiser and you see a drop like that come up to the side, you know, step one is to pucker up your butthole because you're probably dead. But step two is to turn into the torpedoes as much as you can. Because if you can do that, you can minimize the torpedoes that you hit. What the Phoenix did was he turned away, and when you turn away, you swing that rear around, and basically that rear end just catches as many torpedoes as possible as it swings. If you turn the other way around and turn into the torpedoes, then you're pointing the bow into them, and it's much more difficult for your ship to take torpedo hits. You'll take usually one or two less torpedo hits that way. This is actually turning into a closer game here. The Langley might drop a carrier, or sorry, one of the battleships here, and we've got two battleships, two carriers versus two carriers, one battleship, one destroyer. Now this Farang, you really can't do much against. You can try. Drop, 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 quick. Oh, too slow. If you had made the command to drop right away, you might have gotten some torpedo hits on him and killed him because he was slowing down. Now, there's no point in hovering your fighters over this guy because he's going to sit here for a good 30 seconds or so. Or your bombers, I should say. So I would recommend you move your bombers to somebody else, like this Wyoming that's off by himself. There you go. Send your fighters over this guy, or send your fighters up to protect your carrier, your battleships from their carrier. What are you doing with your bombers? There you go. Yeah, you're selecting the wrong unit. There you go. I do that too sometimes. I used to when I first started, at least. Now you're sending your torp bombers back again. My guess is because you want to take out this Farang. You notice the Langley is also kind of swarming him too. And he's out. Now you want to attack from different angles because... Okay. So you're trying to do a cross drop there. Oh! Nice. Alright, well... That takes care of that. Look at the chat. Hi, detonation. Bye! That's awesome. I gotta screenshot that. That's hilarious. God, I hate fighters sometimes. They just orbit, and they orbit in the worst possible way. Send your torpedo bombers to this Wyoming, and send your carrier into decap. At this point, battleship here, carrier here. Decap is probably safe, because the Wyoming probably is about here now at this point, right? So send your carrier into the decap, get a full base cap, maybe move him into C or into A, depending, because he's safe right now. There's no need to be so far away. Hey, look! Yeah, you read my mind! And clear sky. Congrats, dude. Nice job. And your fighters aren't done yet, right? Nom nom, more planes. Nom nom. Now send your... I guess you're gonna send your torpedo bombers at the Langley, and that's fine. Your other bombers are ready to launch. Come on, dude. Launch your planes. Launch the planes. You're not launching your planes. You haven't noticed it yet, have you? Okay, you're too busy with the fighter there trying to support that one drop. Yep, okay. I would have stayed on the dive bombers. Launch your planes. Launch the planes. Come on, you can do it. Now, attack from this angle. This angle. You see he's turning to the right, he's turning into your dive bomber, or your torpedo bombers already. That's going to minimize the damage he's going to take. You might as well send your fighters back to rearm. All one of them. Yep, see he missed. If you attack from this angle, much better chance at success. Have you launched? Yeah, you have, okay. I like that you're supporting the team by keeping this carrier spotted, along with the Langley too. Of course, that's nice. Oh, good drop by the Langley. Good. Now, at this point, I wouldn't even bother dropping the torpedo bombers. I'd wait and see what happens. He's on fire. He's probably going to burn out. There's no point in dropping. Yep, there you go. Find the Wyoming instead. And see, now you're getting the cap there. That's good. Wyoming, who knows where he is. This is where you send your single fighter out. You're out of ammo now, so use him to spot. So send him like over to here. And then send your new torpedo bomber squadron that you haven't launched yet. Maybe over here. There you go. Hey, look, the Wyoming is riding the border. Well, now you can send your carrier into C-cap, because clearly the Wyoming is not going to be a problem. So I'd go full speed now and go into C-cap. That being said, you probably wouldn't even get there in time anyways, but it would reduce the time it takes for your planes to rearm and get back into the battle again. Now, the nice thing about line riding these days is the enemy is much slower. As they slow down quite a bit, so that kind of helps. And I'm going to slow it down a little bit because I have a sense that the end of the battle is approaching. So, some things that I noticed that I just want to share. One would be managing your planes a little bit better. I think you just, over time, you'll get more into the habit of doing it. You want to make sure you're able to order the proper planes to the proper destinations, to the right targets. You want to make sure that you're constantly keeping your planes up. Like right now, you could be launching your second squadron with the one fighter. It takes 10 seconds, but hey, nothing else is going on, so you might as well launch that fighter, get you a little bit extra vision, or keep the Wyoming in vision as your torpedo bombers go back and rearm. Or they can go into the anti-air aura and kind of be a distraction for the enemy's anti-air, and save your torpedo bombers a little bit extra going in. Either way, you got a full base cap, you got one kill. I have a feeling that kill number 2 is approaching right now. You've got clear sky, you got a devastating strike on that Wyoming, which was glorious to watch. So, nice job. Like I said, manage your squadrons. The other thing is target selection. practice dropping on cruisers. I think that is a really important skill, especially at tier 4, tier 3, where they don't have very strong anti-air. They won't punish your mistakes as much. You need to learn to cross drop your torpedoes, and that's really important. So again, if you've got 2 squadrons coming in, you send 1 squadron up here, 1 squadron down there. This squadron attacks this way, this squadron attacks this way, and you make an X pattern with your torpedoes. And basically that target has really no way to dodge, okay? So practice cross-dropping on cruisers, very important. Other than that, I mean, you communicated with the team, you used your planes to spot things. Like I said earlier, an advanced tactic, spotting torpedoes. If you see a destroyer, an enemy destroyer, and there's a battleship that's kind of near it, throw your planes between those two. You'll probably spot some torpedoes, and hey, you know, get some help the team. Basically, you'd maybe get some compliments or something like that for doing it. So, other than that, that's about it. I don't have too much else to share with you. Sorry, but this was actually a pretty good replay. So, yeah. Whoop. So let's watch the Wyoming die, of course, because that's always fun. And that's it. So as always, YouTube, please comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and feel free to send me your replays. And I'd love to feature yours on the channel someday. Give you some pointers, some feedback, some suggestions. Beep, 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 all that good stuff. So, wait for it. Should I slow it down even more just to make you wait for it even more? Huh? Oh, now you really have to wait. I'm kidding, don't worry. Gone. Bye-bye. See you later, guys.